Predicted rain! I don't know about you, but I think it's here! Woo! So I'm just standing outside the UV security light in the rain because I wanted to see how the video looked and I'm getting wet. It's like a hurricane out here.
Here is our Eufy security camera. You can see that's by the company Anker, and this is supposed to provide us 360-degree camera coverage. Let's do a quick unboxing. One of my favorite parts is this also has a floodlight. As you can see, this is nicely packaged. We'll take the camera out of the box. Behind the camera, we have what looks to be a box. This might have our directions and other parts. Let me open that up too. In that little box, we have all of our mounting hardwares and electrical wiring nuts there. We've got our directions, and they also have these little stickers that you can put to show that you have 24-hour monitoring. This thing is pretty beefy. As you can see, it weighs just over 4 pounds, so you need to make sure your mounting hardware can support it. You're actually able to install this 2 different ways. You can do it like a ceiling mount right through here, so a bolt would come through and mount it here, or by pushing this top button, you can open it up and do a wall mount. And that's exactly my application. The directions do tell you that this could be a spot for birds to nest, and so if you don't like that, well then you need to have some sort of deterrent. My little smiley face actually covers the QR code for my unit that I'll need to use to set it up through the app. Now we need to go to the App Store and download the Eufy Security app because that's what we're going to be using for this setup. Once the app downloads, it's going to ask you immediately to use or look at their user agreement. So I'm going to click accept. Now it's going to ask for me to sign in. I don't have an account, so I'm going to sign up for an account. And then, of course, I'm going to enter my email and password. It wants us to select a region. So my region will be the United States. Click on Add Device. When you select your device, make sure you select the Floodlight Cam Pro. They're going to scan that QR code that is in the middle of our light. So I'm going to do that right now. I was able to scan the QR code that was on the back of the box that had our instructions, but if you're not able to scan your QR code for one reason or another, there is also a series of numbers under the QR code on the back of your box. You can enter those manually. Before we go outside and install it, we have to first program it. So I've picked off the back this rubber piece here and I plugged in the included micro USB-C to provide power. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit next here. That's what it's telling me to do. I already checked and made sure that the flashing red light was in the front. Let me spin this around to show you what that looks like. Now I'm going to click on here that it is, in fact, flashing a red light.
Press the button on top until you hear a beep.
Now that we spun it back around, it wants us to push and hold the sync button for 2 seconds until we hear a beep. There's our beep. Now it's supposed to be flashing blue. Let's look on the other side. Here's our confirmation that we are indeed flashing blue. I'm going to hit next. Now I've been asked to connect to a Wi-Fi network, so I hooked in my 2.4 gigahertz network and the camera is doing its thing.
There's nothing like installing a security camera at your house to make you realize, man, does my driveway look rough. Before we go much further, if you're new here, my name is Jeff, and this is Jeff Reviews for You. I review a whole lot of products. I specialize in reviewing as seen on TV. If that aligns with something that you're looking for online, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and click the bell below. That way you're notified every time I release a video just like this one. One more thing, don't forget to check down the description for my social media, Instagram and Twitter. I would love it if you would follow me there too. Now let's get back to unboxing, setting up, and installing our Eufy security camera floodlight.
Connecting to the Wi-Fi network. Please wait.
I just was notified that my setup was successful. Let's click next. It's asking me what to name my camera. I'm putting this on my garage, so I'm going to call it my garage camera. And it's asking me if I want to do any kind of update, so I'll just do that now since I'm sitting here. The light fixture that I'm removing just had these 2 bolts right here, so I'm just going to unscrew them so I can remove the fixture entirely. It looks as though the people that owned the house before me weren't the brightest because they used just a plug as the wire with no box. So now I'm going to remedy this before installing my new light. Here's what I figured out. I ended up opening this up, drilling a hole through. On the other side of this wall, I actually put a box where I'm going to attach my electrical. I ended up just picking up one of these blocks that just fit on top of your siding, and it blends right in. So I'm going to stick this right over top of here. Underneath where that hole is, I'm going to actually put my mounting hardware, and then I can actually slip my wires through because it's pretty much lined up. So I'm going to install this now along with the bracket and then mount the light. Here's the final mounting before I install. I had a cutaway part down here so I can fish the wires through. I did end up putting this mounting hardware underneath the siding so it doesn't push against it. I also have a block under here so this screw is tight against there. Now let's go get our security light and install it. Just in time, I'm fully installed. That's what it looks like with my mounting hardware. It is now starting to rain. I'm real excited. I'm gonna go inside now and hook up the electrical part, but this will also give me a chance to test to see if this camera is watertight. Here I am on the inside of the garage. I mounted this box here and the wires came straight through. Now that's the entire length of the wires I have, which is not ideal, but at least it's on the inside in this box. Now, always want to have electrical safety, so I have one of these wire testers that shows me there is no power here. If you do not feel comfortable hooking up electricity on your own, call an electrician. I'm just going to connect the black wire to the black wire, white wire to the white wire, and hook up the ground. We are all hooked up. We're going to put our box cover on in a second, but we're going to test for power. I flicked the switch. We are also grounded to the box. We are live. So right here is the switch for my Eufy floodlight cam, and I do not want anyone to switch it off. So I ended up picking up one of these little pieces, and all it does is when I'm screwing this faceplate back on, it just goes on over top. I can install it this direction so you don't see the switch here, or I can install it this direction so you see the switch there. In my opinion, what this does is it just provides a visual cue for someone, hey, there's some reason why this switch should not be shut off, but it still provides access on the side if you do need to shut it off. So I'm going to install this here so people know, well, don't shut it off.
So first I wanted to show you just the night vision camera. I'm actually over here by the camper. The camera hasn't really detected me yet. I can see two red lights pointing at me, showing me night vision and a blinking blue light. As I start making some movements, you might see that things will get lighter. Well, that was my atomic beam shining up over there, but now the floodlight cam actually turned on so you can see me in full version. I will say it is well lit in this area. I'm going to walk this way a little just to see if that camera follows me, because I think that's important to tell at night and day. But this entire area is very well lit. That is something I appreciate, especially if you have an intruder, you don't want them there, or you know what? You just want to be able to see at your house.
In this video, we were looking at the Eufy Floodlight Cam 2 Pro. It's their newest version of their floodlight camera. So what did I think of it? Well, first things first, it retails for just under $300. And although that sounds like a pretty high sticker price, at least it did to me, you got to think of what you're getting with this camera. Not only are you getting a pretty bright floodlight that's adjustable from soft light to really, really bright light, but you're also getting a high-tech camera that can pan left and right. And that's pretty impressive. I also like that it has a built-in, almost like hard drive to store the recordings that it detects, and then it can push it right to your phone. You can change the sensitivity level so you don't get as many notifications. I know with mine, when I have my kids out front running around, I get a message every other minute. Motion detected, motion detected, motion detected. So you can definitely lessen the sensitivity. Also, you know what's really cool, and we're going to show you this in a little bit, you can actually set this up to be like an alarm where lights will flash and sirens will go off, and it's really loud and definitely would scare away intruders. I will say, as an internet-enabled camera, it actually does really, really well. My internet out here in the country is not very fast, but I could be anywhere around the city or town and I can still access the camera, and it's actually really, really clear. Now, don't get me wrong, it's much better when I'm at my house on the same Wi-Fi network, but I was really impressed with how you could broadcast across the internet and detect it on your phone. I have some other cameras that I just can't do that with, so that's pretty sweet. Did I mention that you could hear what's going on through the camera, and you can talk to whomever is there? That's a really sweet feature. Now, what didn't I like about it? Well, I should say, what didn't my wife like about it? She thinks this looks like a spaceship, and she thought, man, this would be really cool if they had this kind of a light that was an old school lamp style. Just an idea for you out there at Eufy Anchor Company. Anyway, if this is something that interests you, I will leave a link down in the description. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. As always, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day. Our floodlight is super, super bright, but you know what else it has? You can use this as like an alarm where it have lights flashing and sirens. So I'm gonna turn that on. I just wanted to warn you that there will be some flashing lights. Let's try it out. I really do appreciate that you stayed around for my entire review of the Eufy Floodlight Cam 2 Pro. You know what? Not that long ago, I reviewed another type of camera. It's really more of an indoor camera by SimpliSafe. What I'm going to do is I'm going to link that review right up here, and I would love it if you would click on this link. And when you do, by the magic of the internet, I'm going to join you at this review. So go ahead, click it. It's safe. I promise.